everyone, today I'll be doing a solo master Nightfall run, S.A.B.E.R with Hunter. For my subclass, I'll be using Night Stalker. Here are the mods I'll be using in this video. For my kinetic, I'll be using Krait. For the energy, I'll be using Le Monarque with Catalyst. For my heavy, I'll be using a rocket launcher. For my helmet, I'll be using Temmobility, Hermetic Siphon, Void Siphon. For my gauntlets, I'll be using 5 mobility, bow reloader, overload, SMG, auto rifle, anti-barrier bow, and the elemental mod. For the chest plate, I'll be using elemental ornaments, double solar and arc resistance, and 10 mobility. For leg armor, I'll be using Powerful Friends, a arc mod I'm forced to use, rocket launcher scavenger. Last, I'll be using 5 mobility, overload grenades, volatile flow, and loosen finisher. This week is Togetherness, where every hunter is forced to use a Wormhusk. Wormhusk is an exotic helmet where when you do a dodge, you gain some of its health. It's not like the crest of Alpha and Titan where you get more than half or half of your health. No, Wormhusk is the exotic, whereas RNG, when it feels like giving you health, or it doesn't really feel like giving you health at all, it just gives you a little pinch of health and then that's it when you dodge, by the way. Now the good news is you can actually take advantage of the Devour for Hunter. And yes, Titan can also use Devour as well, but mainly let's just talk about Hunter. I feel for the Hunter is more efficient using a void energy weapon, especially for the artifact with the volatile rounds and with elemental well as well. It just works more efficient than using a different energy weapon like arc and solar for the Hunter for Devour, because I have tested out on other weapons of not using void, by the way, void energy or heavy. And I was just having trouble of trying to get Devour to prop, etc, etc. Now over here I am going to stand here at the Warsat until around 30 or 31%. Now I will back away and there is a ship here where you can just take down the mini turrets, right? First, that way you won't get one shot. Yes, sometimes there's a bug where it can one shot you randomly. I would say 2 shot because then again it is Togetherness, so maybe I had half health and then just one shot me because I was on full health, you know. So with the Devour of Hunter, you can actually take advantage of Devour. To get Devour, you can use the helmet that I'm using right now, the 2 mods, right? And you can spawn orbs, right? There is a void mod, which I forgot it's called, where you can spawn orbs. And there's another one which I despise because that specific mod, you need to be the same subclass as the weapon. So basically, you will have to use an energy or a heavy to make orbs with that specific mod, which I forgot what's it called, by the way. I don't entirely remember. And that specific mod that it costs energy 1 doesn't work if you are using a solar weapon or a arc weapon and then you're using Devour. It just doesn't work on that specific perk, which again, I forgot what's it called, but you guys know what I'm talking about for the helmet. When you are over 34%, you saw I did take down the Overload Champion. Now this is when 2 ships will spawn around 36%, etc, etc, where it's a good time to try your best to take down the turrets, which they can mess up your DPS dealing with the ads of Fallens. Now be aware that they can deal 50% damage with the arc burn, so the snipers can melt you if you're not being very careful, especially for Hunter. It can be a bit tricky of using Devour. Sometimes you might forget. And you might just get 2 shots or 3 shots. If 3 snipers shoot you at the same time, then they'll probably have to start all over again. Now there is this arc captain, and this one seems to be very aggressive. It always tries to follow you and melee you. So be aware that there will be maybe 2 or 3 arc fallen captains that will try to push. And you will have to use your rocket. I wouldn't recommend using your super. I would wait for your super until you spawn the barrier champion. Now the barrier champion will spawn around, I would say 50% or maybe more. I could be wrong. So once you do see the barrier champion, that will spawn on the second ship, by the way, on the right. Then you can use your super, use the Le Monarque, break the shield, use your super again. Just take advantage of it. And yeah, that is the beauty of the Devour, and of course the super as well. Now if you are using the rigs, you can use a super 3 times compared to 2, but because of Togetherness, and you know how it is with Togetherness, you have to be using a healing exotic for the Hunter. Warlock doesn't really matter. Titan, here and there, because now with the new void subclass for the Titan, you could just take advantage and manipulate the Bastion or the barricade, etc., with the void shield, which I will talk about that in another video another time, since this is mainly focused on Hunter. Yes, another thing I would like to mention is, yes, I am spamming Le Monarque. I mean, of course, Le Monarque has Unrelenting, right? For Togetherness is just so efficient. It's so well on Hunter. It just works amazing. And I would take advantage of the volatile rounds, by the way, for this season, especially on Hunter and Le Monarque. Definitely take advantage of it, especially for GM in the future. I am waiting to capture the Warsat, and I'm waiting around 95%, maybe 100 if I'm lucky. You know, if I was on a Titan, you know, I could just put the barricade or something, or healing rift, or, you know, I could do that, but I had to back away since I can't really rely on Wormhusk. Yeah, so I'm not really relying on Wormhusk so much. I'm mostly relying on Devour and volatile rounds. Yeah, I honestly don't trust Wormhusk. I never had good luck with Wormhusk. Every time I dodge, it's always a big sad face. Like when I really need health, Wormhusk is just never there for me on PvE, by the way. I'm not talking about PvP. So make sure you gather as much orbs as you can. And another thing I'd like to mention is, if you are full on super, then you can't pick up the orbs. So you have to be super aware. You can't pick the orbs up, and you need to use your super, or if you don't really need to, let's just say it's just an overload champion and you don't really feel like doing it, then don't use your super and just try your best to take down the overload champion. I am using the stasis auto rifle. There is other auto rifles that are good too. I just haven't found the right perks, you know. The one I'm using is auto loading holster, and then there's these other perk where you do precision shots and you get magazine back. Very nice, very neat. Headstone is also okay to use, not the best, but if you want to have fun with the stasis build, then go ahead and use the headstone and auto loading holster for the Krait auto rifle. Once we capture the plate over the Warsat, now things are gonna be a little bit annoying, where there's gonna be a lot of ads and a lot of overload champions. And I think in this footage, my super just didn't work out dealing with the barrier champion. So be aware that there's going to be explosive shanks and solar shanks, well, shanks that will have solar shields. So since we don't have any solar in our character, unfortunately, we will have to rely on Le Monarque around 2 to 3 shots to take down the shields. And it could take a long time, which is why this video took a while. There are also different ways to do with this encounter. I always just go in this little tunnel, but the problem over here is there are invisible fallens from the right side that they can spawn up behind you, and then on GM it could be a little dangerous if you're not aware of your surroundings, right? Now there's these invisible vandals, you know, invisible fallens, which they can be super annoying to deal with. And I despise them, especially trying to use Taiku. I despise them even more. Oh yeah, by the way, if you're thinking Taiku can track the invisible fallen, then you're gonna be disappointed because it doesn't work. I tried it. If you're wondering about Taiku, yes, I have tried to use Taiku, but we'll talk about that another time. You saw that I was trying to use my super and I messed up. I was trying to take down the barrier and the barrier was just not cooperating with me because the fallen was tethered or immune from the barrier. And this can be kind of tricky, especially on Hunter. It's gonna be a bit annoying to deal with. Now just be aware when taking down an overload or a barrier champion, you will spawn the next wave of ads. So when you do take down the champion, you have to hide in the tunnel area on the right or left side. For me, I prefer the left side. Yeah, the power of Le Monarque with the Catalyst, by the way. Catalyst, you get the Unrelenting perk, which is amazing for Togetherness and attrition as well. Now this is the wave where it'll be Overload Champion. Then the Solar Shanks, yeah, they're gonna be very annoying to deal with in this video. You know, it was a debate of using Taiku and Le Monarque, but I'll be honest with you, I was having trouble of getting Devour with Taiku. It was weird, by the way, and it just wasn't working. You know, especially with the barrier champion, you know, pre-fire and fire, right, with Taiku, just didn't work well with the Hunter. Probably with a different subclass, it'll be more better, to be honest, not thinking about it. You saw there that I did took down one Overload champion. Mainly there are 2 Overload champions in this area so far, for now, right? And I am just trying to take down the Shanks because they have a sniper and they can melt you if you're not being very careful, right? So you must be aware of the Solar Shanks since they will be your enemies in this video. Now if I was using a solar weapon, right, maybe they wouldn't be a big threat. But you have to be very careful dealing with these Overload champions. Sometimes they move around even when using the auto rifle. Now the auto rifle I'm using is okay, it's not the best. Well actually the one I'm using is probably the best for the stasis kinetic so far. Unless I have Volvo weapon, but you know, Volvo weapon would make a big difference. Now once we cleared out all the ads, you shoot the charge, then you go back in the tunnel. More fallens. I didn't have my grenade, by the way. I was gonna throw my grenade so I can get the well, you know, and then get the volatile rounds, but it didn't work. Here I decided to use my super because, well, I wanted Devour and it was full. I can't use Devour if my super is full, I can't use Devour, you know, for the perk, right? You saw these invisible fallen, the gold bars, where I would be very cautious. Now before I take down the Overload Champion, I have to take down the shields of these Solar Shanks, and they can be extremely annoying to deal with. Always remember to have double arc resistance for this Nightfall. Without any arc resistance, then they will almost one-shot you, and if you are under level, then they will guarantee one-shot you in the fire team. So now there'll be 2 Overload Champions. Yeah, isn't that fun? So another thing I like to mention is when you do shoot the charge, you can go back and do DPS at their spawn, right? Now in this video I didn't do that. I could have go back to the entrance, right? Shoot down the charge and then just spawn trap them and do DPS at the Overload Champions so the run could be faster. So that's one thing I could have done, by the way, but hey, this was my second go for Le Monarque. For Taiku, it was probably multiple runs. It just wasn't working out too well because I was trying to get Devour and it kept running out again and again and again. I was like, sad face, this is not doing well for Hunter, right? Now, this is probably everyone's worst enemy. For me, I would say yes and a no. Now, you must pick up this heavy charge. There are different ways to do this. For Hunter, it's probably the easiest. Titan is probably easy too. For the Titan, I always like to just quickly jump to the ceiling and then just use that for momentum to go to the charge. For the Warlock, same thing, but if it doesn't work out, I just try my best to go to the right door. Now for the Hunter, it's pretty laughable. I mean, if you have the invisibility, you can just go behind a mini wall, which I will show very soon. So I pick up the charge once the electric passed me, and then I try to jump to the ceiling to gain momentum. Then I dodge at this area, and of course wait until that arc passes. Then I deposit the charge, and then that's it. That's basically what I do for the Hunter. Now for the Warlock, I will have to go to that door from the right side, which you saw, the one where we just entered previously. I will have to go there and just take the orb for my Warlock, or for my Hunter too, unless I time it really right with the momentum of the ceiling. Maybe I could just make it, because I have tried it before. Now this area is super fun for you, not for me. It's super fun for you. So there's gonna be a mini infinite waves of ads depending of the champions you kill. It's very weird, this area. Super weird. Now the first wave or mini wave is when we get all these solar shanks. Well, explosive shanks here and there. They seem to spawn mini infinitely. Mini, I would say, because later on it's gonna go for the Fallen, the mini infinite Fallen spawns right after you kill Pacific amount of champions. This area is super weird. I never liked it, and I still don't like it, because sometimes you're focusing on other things like dealing with the champion, right? Then the solar shanks out of nowhere push, or the explosive shanks push, and then you have to start all over again, and it's gonna be a nightmare. Now, you're probably wondering what I'm doing here. I am trying to bait the Overload Champion. That's mainly what I'm trying to do right now. And then all these solar shanks have this solar shield, so you know, when using Le Monarque, you have to try your best to take down the shields from this solar shanks. Now, this week is Hot Knife. They don't have Hot Knife in Grandmaster. So the good news is in Grandmaster, there is no Hot Knife. So yay, isn't that fun? And there's no Togetherness in Grandmaster. Isn't that awesome? Right? So you don't need to worry about Hot Knife or Togetherness in Grandmaster. So all these shields, solar shields, you won't see them at all. You won't see them at all in GMs. And yes, my tether over there was really bad. I was trying to take down the barrier champion, but then the mini teller wall blocked my way, which is okay. I mean, I still took down the barrier champion, right? And now once you take down one of the barrier champions, or one champion, then you're going to have the mini infinite Fallens that will push towards you. Around 3 of them. Really hate this. So these guys will infinitely spawn over and over and over until you take down the Overload champions. So yeah, definitely make sure you take them down fast, because if you don't, then you're gonna have infinite waves of Fallens, well, 3 of them. So I try to take one down as much as I can. Hopefully I won't get a infinite mini spawn of Fallens pushing towards me, trying to demolish me. See, another one, 3 again. Yep, now you have, I would say, around 20 seconds before they spawn again. So this is when things can be a little tricky. When you need to take down these Overload barrier champions, well, Overload champions. I don't know why I said Overload barrier. I was thinking about that rock from Proving Grounds. And you need to take them down, or you'll have the infinite waves of Fallens here. You saw that they spawn again every 30 seconds of your life. You're gonna see those guys. Not like, oh, it's just one splits. No, you see them every 30 seconds if you don't take them down. Now over here, I was just trying to think, because one, I only have 2 rockets, so I have to make the rockets count for me. And at the same time, I was having these infinite Fallens running towards me. It's like, hello, Blitz, you forgot about the infinite waves of Fallens? Yes, every 30 seconds of your life? Yes, I know. I understand. And just always try your best to take down the Overload champion. So now we'll be dealing with one more champion, and now it's so much easier. Now, for some reason, I don't know why, right? Even when you take down all the 2 champions, you're still gonna get waves of mini 3 Fallens pushing towards you. So yeah, if you guys thought, oh, just kill 2 Overload champions and the infinite waves of ads of Fallens will stop, nope. You will have to kill all the champions, then the infinite waves of Fallens, the 3 Fallens, right, the ones that push towards you, for them to go away. Right now, I'm just trying to use my auto rifle. You know, just trying to take advantage of it. I'm trying to reload the rocket and just take down this super annoying Overload champion. Finally got him down, and the wave of infinite Fallens has fallen or has been despawned, etc., etc. Yeah, wasn't that fun? Togetherness, everyone's favorite mod. Now this one was pretty simple. If you do have your super, just use it. Use it because if you use a super, you can also do damage at the tether. So basically the servitor, or the BB servitor that is immuning the Fallens, your super for the Hunter can do DPS on them, which is good because they're all snipers and they'll be really tough to deal with them when they are tethered, you know, etc. So make sure you take them down. And then just spam Le Monarque. Spam Le Monarque as much as you can. And then the best part about this is 3 more Overload champions. It's just fantastic. Okay, so in this area, in this footage, I was walking around. I was walking around because I was thinking. Yes, so this is basically what I do when I'm thinking. You know, I just walk around thinking, because there's 3 Overload Champions, I got 4 rockets, right? And you know how the Overload Champions work. They're very aggressive. You gotta take them down fast if you don't really have a good Overload auto rifle, or if it's not good enough for the auto rifle. Not only that, my the grenade wasn't fully charged, so it's gonna be a big problem. I was thinking maybe I should go over here, but then they're shooting these arc seekers at me. So what is the best way to deal with these Overload Champions, right? For me, I wanted to wait for my nade. I was trying to bait one of the Overload Champions on this specific spot right here, but because I'm not a warlock, right? I could have used a healing rift or a barrack, bastion or something on my Titan and just deal with it. Nope, can't do that. Had to rely on Wormhusk. Did you see that? Wormhusk. It gave me a tiny bit of health. I really hate Wormhusk right now. Every time I dodge, I'm just gonna look of how much health I'm getting from Wormhusk. So make sure you beat 1 Overload Champion, then 2 of them will be a little easier. Now this is when you actually can take advantage of the nade. Now make sure you have the Overload grenades, that way you can stagger both of them, right? And then you could just spam your rocket. So make sure you do that. And just be aware of your health, because Wormhusk is RNG, right? You never know if it's going to give you health, or it's going to say, a little bit over here. Okay, little health, that's all you need. And seriously, I'm not even joking. Wormhusk has a mind of his own. I mean, if you love Wormhusk and it gives you a lot of health, then you know what? I think Wormhusk just loves you. It just despises me. It never liked me, and I still despise Wormhusk. So finally, we took down all the champions, even though I have half health. I could have used my dodge, but I totally forgot that I had Wormhusk. Now, be aware in this area where you can get killed. Now, you can see here I was being very, very careful. The reason why I jumped is because on my first run with Le Monarque, I died. Not even joking. I just float around across the map, and then I died. Then I had to start all over again, right? So it was pretty much frustrating. I mean, if I die on a silly death on trying to go to the boss fight, what's gonna happen to GM? So that means the possibility, I would say 50% chance, or maybe 40, that I can die on GM because a bug, trying to go down to the boss fight can kill me, which is why I was walking really slow and then trying to do a double jump. So now this is probably the most interesting part, and this is when I thought my strat would work, but it didn't so much. Now the boss fight, we're gonna be dealing with the boss, right? He moves around left and right, you can manipulate him. At the same time, there are these solar shanks, shanks, and they have solar shields. Now, just to let everyone know, on a GM, they don't have shields. Grandmaster, the shanks don't have shields, so you don't have to worry about these solar shields. The reason why we have it is because in this Nightfall, right, for Master is Togetherness and Hot Knife. Hot Knife is when all shanks have solar shields, so you don't really need to worry about it, which is why this run did take longer, because I am using Le Monarque in this video. Things were getting out of hand, because what I want to do here is take down all the shanks and then make the boss immune and let him spawn to the resting area. But it didn't work out, so I decided to go for plan B and then just back away. So this is a second mini safe spot. I don't really like that spot too much because the shanks can actually float towards you, as you saw there, which is not a good idea. But I was trying to take down these shanks because if you do DPS at the boss and he immunes, then there will be a barrier champion, and then this is when the barrier champion is going to tether the ones that are floating in the air, basically the snipers. Trying to take them down while they're tethered is a nightmare. It is very frustrating, which is why I prefer to take down all the shanks and then do DPS at the boss so he can teleport, and then I don't have to worry about snipers being tethered in the air. So yeah, you already know this is going to take a while because I don't have any solar. I'm trying to take advantage of elemental wells, trying to get the volatile rounds. So if you do have them, it takes around 2 hits to take down the solar shanks when you do have it. I mean, if I was using Taiku, you know, of course the boss fight would be much easier. Yes, I understand that. I just want to use Le Monarque since it has Unrelenting, and it matches my subclass so I can get elemental wells. Also, Devour is just easier on Le Monarque than Taiku because you have to pre-shot and then you have to shoot. And it just takes a while. Not only that, you also have to do that with the barrier champion. And that can be super annoying. I thought the pre-shot, the one where it does solar burn, right? Solar burn. It will at least do some damage to the barrier champion. It will prevent it from healing, but nope, didn't do that. Even though I propped with Taiku, it still was healing. Even though it was on fire, it didn't make any sense. It's supposed to be like Le Monarque. You know, still poisons and it can delay the healing. Nope, not Taiku. It's like, no, didn't work. So you have to be very aware. If you are using Taiku, you have to make sure you take down the barrier champion as much as you can. And do any pre-shot. And then forgetting to do the second shot for the bow. It's not going to work. It's going to heal and regenerate health. This is the second phase. Second phase, I decided to just do DPS and make him just go to the immune mode where he'll rest in the right area. And then I could deal with the shanks. I decided to go with this method because, well, I didn't want a boss to move around. See, here's the thing. When the boss is floating around, he likes to float and also stomp you. By the way, the boss can actually stomp you if you get too close, and it will shoot probably void and solar. Alright? And I think Arc 2, I don't remember 100%. Usually during the phases of the boss, he'll switch to a different mode where he'll shoot void, then he'll shoot arc, and then solar. So you have to be very careful that the boss can shoot different elements. So just be very aware, and yes, this is taking a while. Because I did so much DPS the boss, I have a lot of shanks that are floating in the air, and I'm trying to take them down with Le Monarque, and then the boss is teleporting, and this machine keeps going up and down like this. Oh, okay, it's not there, the electric. Then it spawns again after 10 seconds. Yep, it's fantastic. You know, I'll be really honest with you. If there wasn't Hot Knife, I'd probably be done already. Probably already complete the solo already. But because of Hot Knife, I had to deal with the shanks, with the solar shields, you know. The Hot Knife is super RNG. It comes every 3 weeks, if I'm mistaken or not. For Master only, it's not really for GM. Now, because this was getting out of hand, I was getting a little impatient. I tried to pick up some volatile rounds and then just try my best to take down this annoying barrier champion. Now, you're probably thinking, why can't I just take down a barrier champion? Well, you know what, maybe I could have, but it's a possibility that if I do take down the barrier champion, then the boss will spawn in the middle of the map. So I wanted to be very careful, because you know, this was my second run on my Le Monarque, so you know, it's been a long time since I've done S.A.B.E.R. You have to make sure that all the shanks, the snipers, are taken down. you have to be very careful because right now there is one sniper which could ruin your run. By the way, on a GM, if you don't take down the snipers, they're going to annihilate you and it's going to be a wipe back to orbit. So you have to be very careful with them. And then once you do that, you just take your time with the S.A.B.E.R champion. Now, I would have used a rocket, you know. I could have, but I decided not to. And I was thinking of using the finisher, but then I debated, like, no, it's okay. I can do it another time. So once you take down the S.A.B.E.R champion, then the boss will spawn again. And the room goes all red. So when it goes all red, then this is the best time to move. So if you don't move, that electric over there you saw from the far distance of where we were standing, it will one-shot you. Well, I guess two-shot you in Master, but let's just say one-shot for a GM. It will one-shot you. So make sure you move to this spot because this is probably the safest spot you will ever be. Unless you move around too much in the middle of the map, then the boss could follow you around here. But you have to be aware of the explosive shanks, which is not infinite at all. I would say the boss likes to spawn these explosive shanks around 2 minutes. Once 2 minutes are up of you just shooting the shanks, right? Then you can just do as much DPS as you can for the boss. Alright, since we're here and this is gonna take a while, this is gonna be the last phase or the pre-phase, etc, etc. Now the last bar is when the boss decides to copy Warlock and become Stormcaller and starts to follow you and spam arc. And it will follow you and be very aggressive. So that's the time when you have to use your super, rocket, and super, and rocket. Or linear. Well, linear, super linear, you know, any heavy that you have to spam it a lot during the last phase of the boss. Now, if I was using the rigs, right, then definitely you can take down the boss. Now thinking about it, for a GM, I think using the rigs would be better than 6 Coyote because you'll have 3 tethers to deal DPS at the boss. Could be better than 6 Coyote. Not entirely sure because we don't know the DPS of how it is in GMs for this season. You know, every season's different, by the way. The same but a little different with the weapons and the artifact. It's a big possibility. Now I am taking my time here. So I am using Le Monarque right now and to be very careful because I want to skip the wave of ads. I want to skip the snipers because it's all solar shanks and snipers and it's not fun. I would prefer to do DPS at the boss. So this is the last phase where the boss decides to go Stormcaller. You must use rocket, super rocket, and then take him down. And then we finally beat the boss. So yay! Thank you so much for watching. I still hate Wormhusk. I'm trying my best to like it, but I just despise it so much. I mean, if I had to choose Alpha Crest or Wormhusk, I would actually rather use the Titan exotic over the Wormhusk.